Good day and welcome to another episode of Bucket List Living with Brad Norwood. I'm your host, Brad Norwood, and we're here today to talk a little bit of the bucket list. And I want to talk to you today about fear and conquering fear. We're living in a world right now where there's a lot of fear, and a lot of it is necessary. Some of it may not be necessary, but I don't want to get into the political aspects, all the conspiracy theories, and so forth. I want to talk about fears in your personal life, things that you've always been scared of, or things that scare you about becoming a new you and getting out of your comfort zone. What is fear, and why do we have fear? I heard a great example last week that fear is an acronym that stands for false expectations appearing real. How true is that? How many times, I think back to when I was a kid, and even raising my own kids now, they're scared to go to bed. Maybe they're scared of the dark. You know, there's monsters or whatever there might be that appears in their head. And we all know as grown adults that that's not true, right? But it's a real fear in children. And as we grow older, we start to develop other fears. You know, I'm scared to death of heights. In fact, if you've taken my class, my bucket list life plan, and you've gone through the letter C, conquer a fear, with me, you've heard my story of being scared to death of heights, yet going to the top of the stratosphere in Las Vegas. In fact, if you want to see that story, I've got a great video. Shoot me an email and I'll email you that video. Sharp Dunaway, my videographer, captured the trip all on video, put together a great short documentary, if you will, about conquering fear. But I'm scared to death of heights. And I don't know how tall the stratosphere is in Las Vegas, obviously one of the tallest buildings that we have in the United States. And I went to the top of it. And I thought, I'm scared of heights because really I get this sensation that I'm falling all the time. And it's false, right? I've never fallen. I've never seen anyone fall. I know people have. But I don't know why I have this false expectation that appears real. However, I do. Scared to death of heights. And so we were in Las Vegas, and down the strip, we could see the stratosphere. And Sharp looked at me and said, it'd be cool if we went to the top of that stratosphere and got some footage of the strip looking back down the strip. And I said, you can go, but I'll be down at the bottom level. You can find me at a video poker machine. I'm not going to the top of that thing. And as we were in our Uber approaching the stratosphere, it started to dawn on me, it would be really cool if I went to the top of that thing and conquered a fear of heights. And so we got in line and we bought our tickets. In my hands, I just remember my palms became so sweaty and I was fidgeting, just couldn't stand still, bubbling inside, shaking in my boots is what I called it in the video. Scared to death to go to the top. And we get on the elevator and you can feel the elevator shaking, as it goes up. I don't even know how many stories now tall it is, but several stories high, and boom, the doors open and we're down. You look down this narrow hallway. You have no idea. If you didn't know you were going to the top of the stratosphere, you would have no idea you were that high above the ground. And so I walked out, again, my hands clammy, shaking, I'm nervously approaching, and then boom, there's the room. And it's beautiful. And you can see for forever. And I remember walking into that room and kind of standing in the middle of the circle. And of course, people are all up along the glass looking down and doing what people who aren't afraid of heights do. And I got in the middle of the room and I got comfortable and could catch my breath a little bit, began breathing normal. And Sharp said, turn around, we'll shoot from here. And so we did. We shot a video. Now, I didn't go all the way to glass, okay, but I did. I got to the top and I was in the room, and we were up there for a good 30 minutes. And it was just an amazing feeling of accomplishment once I got there. That, this fear of falling, this fear of heights really was false. And I let that head trash stop me. And how cool it was to see things from a different perspective, from so high up above the ground. And I actually, in the video, I turned it into an analogy for incentive travel and how I can help you start at the ground and build a program that takes you to new heights. And it was a great analogy. But the analogy is true in your own life when you conquer a fear. And I want you to stop right now and think of what scares you. Think of what you've always been afraid of. Whether it's heights, maybe it's crowds, which may be a whole new deal now, I understand. Maybe you're afraid of snakes or spiders. I don't know. Whatever it might be, think of what you're afraid of and why you're afraid of them. Are you afraid of going in the ocean because you're afraid of sharks? You know, there's minimal people that have ever been attacked by a shark. So your chances are very slim. While it's a reality, it's still false. So take just a second and think about what you're afraid of. And I want you to do this exercise. I want you to write down. Remember, I always tell you in the program, if you write something down, you're 42% more likely to accomplish that task when it's written down. But we're going to do something a little opposite right now. I want you to write down why you're scared. I want you to list out those reasons. Why do you have that fear? What is it that's going to happen or that you think will happen because of your fear? And I want you to write those ideas down. You may have 2 or 3, you may have 10 to 20. Write them all down. And then I want you to make a column. And on the column to the other side of that, I want you to write what would happen if you conquered the fear. What's the expectation you think would happen? How would you feel? Because I'm going to tell you, there's not a greater feeling of accomplishment than there is when you conquer a fear. When you realize that head trash has been in your way for however long, and that you really can do something that you thought maybe you didn't even want to do because you were scared of it, because you had fear in it. And so I want you to take that list today and use the column. Look at the why column of why you don't want to and why you're scared. Then I want you to look at what we're going to call the accomplishment column. And I want you to look at why, that experience of why you would do that and how you would feel when you accomplished it. Swim in the ocean for an hour. Watch. You won't be bitten by a shark. Go to the top of the stratosphere. You're not going to fall. Climb that mountain that you've always wanted to climb. Swim in that ocean that you've always wanted to swim in. Hold the snake, or don't run from a spider. Just be around it. Don't have to pick it up. Don't be scared. Be ready to accomplish and conquer your fears. You can do this. You see, there's a brand new you on the other side of a bucket list. And we have to move through the head trash. We have to move through fear in order to accomplish most of the items on our list. And as you know, the letter C in the My Bucket List Life Plan stands for conquer a fear. You see, it doesn't take any money to do this. No money at all. That's one of the false expectations, again, of a bucket list that appears real. It's a fear of a bucket list. People don't even want to start a bucket list because they think it takes all kinds of money and time. Now, I'm showing you a simple concept today that starts with fear, a false expectation that appears real. It's not real. I want you to experience the new potential on the other side of your bucket list, on the other side of fear, because that new potential is a brand new you. And you can do it today. Start with your list. Write down what you're afraid of and what could go wrong. Write down the accomplished side. How will you feel when you accomplish this? What do you want to experience when it's done? I promise you, there's a brand new you over there. You're going to feel better than you've ever felt before. It's one of the greatest senses of accomplishment I've ever had, was standing on top of the world at the stratosphere. And I want you to be on top of the world today to conquer a fear of yours. Have a great day. And remember, a bucket list life is a life worth living.